Hey, everybody, welcome to this episode of Real to Real Talk. I am Sergio Barrera, and joining me, as always, is the other Real to Real Talker, Paul Britton. And it's time once again for us to talk movies. Paul, we are entering or are already in the summer months. And so I thought tonight we would take a look at what's coming as far as summer movies because, big time of year for films.
You know what? That's a good idea. Let's do that.
All right.
Because if you're a movie fan, this summer is your Christmas. It's a 3 to 4 month long Christmas, and it's great.
Right.
And Christmas is your other Christmas.
and so, in your estimation, Paul, when does the summer movie extravaganza? When would you say it begins?
It's now officially the first week of May. It had been creeping up into April for a little bit. I believe there had been a couple of Marvel movies that were released in the middle of April, but it's back to sanity. It's first week of May, so yeah, we're a month late on this, and then it goes until ostensibly through August, but we'll not to spoiler alert here, but August is a little thin this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if we consider Memorial Day weekend, the opening that we got, just to bring that up for a quick second, so much of what we have looked forward to that is now going to be coming up sort of in the next few months or has come up in the last couple of weeks. It's sort of the I don't know if I want to call it the residuals of the delayed films.
Yes.
From the last 2.5 years, right?
Absolutely. No, so far, the two movies we've had is Doctor Strange the first week of May, and then the last week of May, Top Gun Maverick. Those Doctor Strange was supposed to come out last year, and Top Gun Maverick was supposed to come out 2 years ago.
Right, exactly.
So, yeah, it's, and honestly, when we look forward, most of these have been delayed a year, and you look at it, and it feels like the summer it feels like a light summer. It really does. Yeah. It genuinely feels like a light summer, and part of that is because I think you have a lot of like in 2000, like movies that would have been things that would have been filming summer through basically the last 6 months of 2000 didn't get filmed, and this is when they would be released right now, especially if they're heavy big tentpole stuff that require and CGI and a lot of post-production stuff.
Sure.
So that's what so it's just kind of like everything got pushed back, and so but not everything got pushed back. Like we last year we got a few things that had been pushed back a year, and it's been those have been slowly getting released, and so now it feels weird. Like honestly, it feels weird.
No, you're right. And admittedly, we are coming in a few weeks late to the summer movie preview. But I think regardless of whenever we would have done this, I think to echo your point earlier, this summer, while there are some big movies coming, it's thinner than normal in terms of content. And so as we get started, you already mentioned, Paul, that we've had 2 big releases in Doctor Strange and in Top Gun Maverick. And I would say in both cases, as far as 2022 summer goes, strong start.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
The IP blockbusters have delivered thus far.
Absolutely. So as we get now into the month that we are part of and already in June, we're looking at, again, a pretty thin week for the first portion of this month. But we are on the cusp of what is yet another film that we have been looking forward to and that has been sort of long in the making as we get ready for the final installment of the Jurassic World trilogy. Yeah. And apparently there's going to be a lot going on if you know the trailers that's going to sort of tie all of these movies together.
Right.
And so we're looking forward to that coming out. Releases this week.
Mhm.
I understand you have your tickets already for IMAX and 3D. Is that correct?
Yeah, IMAX 3D on
Wow,
Saturday. I am really excited about that.
excellent.
I will genuinely enjoy the experience, even if I don't necessarily enjoy the movie. So that's what I'm setting up for.
I get it. Yeah, Thursday night I'll be going ahead and not logging in, but going to the theater to catch
Right.
Jurassic World Dominion. Jurassic World Dominion. Of course, the trailer looks pretty fantastic.
Mhm.
There's so much going on in terms of this is one of those moments where when you look at that particular, I don't want to get too deep into it, but when you look at that particular trilogy, there is sort of a continuity of story, and so I'm looking forward to seeing what this holds, and looking forward next week, Paul, to talk with you about it. So,
Yes.
anything else going on this coming week that you are looking forward to in relation to movies coming out?
Not really. I think the next week it has more interesting stuff. It has more stuff that I would definitely want to talk about. And starting with obviously Pixar's Lightyear,
Yeah,
which is I guess we'll call it it's not a prequel, it's not a reboot, it's more of a spinoff
sure.
of the Toy Story. Because this is the story of the actual Buzz Lightyear, not to be confused with the toy Buzz Lightyear, but rather, an actual character or an actual person known as Buzz Lightyear, or maybe I, I don't know how they're going to play it.
Yeah,
Is it like a person and an IP that the toys are based off of? I don't know. I don't know how how it's
yeah.
going to be presented,
When I
but
first saw the I'm sorry to interrupt you. When I
no,
first saw the trailer, I remember thinking to myself, "Okay, do we really need a backstory or origin story for this character? It's a doll." But hey, listen, the art of that trailer is that it makes you curious.
yeah, yeah. And it's Pixar. It's
Right?
Pixar. I mean, Pixar has immunity with me. Like
Okay,
I'll allow them to do as they will, and I will be there for it. And I will enjoy it on some level. I promise.
sure, sure.
So unless they try to give me another Cars movie, that's it.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. I again, as time has gone on, I have become more curious about this film. Those who have watched the show historically know that animated films are not generally my forte,
Right.
but because this is such a familiar character in terms of the Toy Story franchise and so forth, I am looking forward to it, and I'm looking
Cool.
forward to
Cool.
talking about it when it is time.
The other
That
two
brings us. Oh, go ahead.
the other two movies I want to talk about
Okay.
there are coming out that same weekend are streamers. And there's Good Luck to You, Leo Grande, which is Emma Thompson gets a gigolo.
Okay.
And if you're an Emma Thompson fan, such as myself, like you pretty much dating back for me, dating back to Henry V. I'll see, she's just so charming and so engaging. Yes, I'm there for an Emma Thompson streamer movie. And
Sure.
then there's also Spiderhead, which is the next movie from the guy who just released Top Gun Maverick. So Top Gun Maverick should have come out 2 years ago. In the 2 years since, he filmed Spiderhead, and so he has a movie coming out, essentially 3 weeks after his Top Gun Maverick movie comes out.
Gotcha.
And that one's going straight to Netflix. So, some good things for people who aren't quite comfortable going out to the movie theaters yet. You've got some decent fare that's going to be available to you right away.
Got it. Defined as let's see, I had it right here.
Okay.
Genre bending and darkly funny psychological thriller.
Yeah, genre bending. Yes, yes.
Yeah. So, okay. All right. I can't say that I knew about that, but I'm looking forward to it, and I'll look forward to talking about it.
Cool.
All right. So we get to June 24th, and a movie that for me, the trailer has been troubling.
Interesting.
And I say so because, and the problem, I think the problem is I have to remember, I keep forgetting it's Baz Luhrmann, but Elvis, will finally get, well, not finally, but we'll get big screen treatment this summer, courtesy of Baz Luhrmann and cast. Everybody's so heavily made up.
Well, but that's Baz Luhrmann.
I'm being picky. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
You watch this movie and you're like, okay, this is a Baz Luhrmann movie. The interesting things about this movie are like innumerable, including but not limited to Tom Hanks playing the Colonel.
Right.
Basically Tom Hanks playing a bad guy. I mean, that's what this
Right.
is.
Yeah.
This is the movie that Tom Hanks was filming in Australia when he got COVID, and we were all afraid that we were going to lose Tom Hanks.
Right.
All right, so that it's Baz Luhrmann, and Baz Luhrmann really kind of going back to his roots, which is making a musical. In essence, like, let's not kid it. It's a musical that's just going to have all of Elvis's music.
Sure.
It's not going to be a musical in the sense of it's a musical biopic. Everybody's
Right.
seen, people have seen, Jamie Foxx as Ray Charles. People have seen Joaquin Phoenix as Johnny Cash. We know what musical biopics, but it's going to have Baz Luhrmann's energy. And so
Right.
it's just a question of, do I want Baz Luhrmann's energy in my life? And for me, the answer is yes. I want
Okay.
Baz Luhrmann's energy in my life. Not everybody does, and I respect
Sure.
that.
I'm drawn to it because of my, I grew up, knowing about Elvis's music. I mean, I was young when he passed, but you couldn't live in the early 70s, even as a kid, and not know who Elvis was.
Sure.
And I think enough time has passed to where a movie of this type is going to hopefully, depending on the treatment that Elvis gets in this film, and of course, like you said, the Colonel and all that, it's going to be interesting. I am weirdly fascinated by the trailer, and it definitely has me, getting that ticket to sit and watch it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Can we talk? And maybe it's on your list, but I've got to talk about The Black Phone.
Interesting. Okay.
Opens the same week. Mainly because one of the things that I know I'm looking forward to is there are some horror movies that are going to be coming out this summer that that's not one of my go-to genres, but I'm starting to get more into, these sort of mind-bendy type scenarios. You think back to Men just a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
The Black Phone, starring Ethan Hawke.
Yeah.
The trailer it looks really, really fantastic.
Yeah.
Not sure if that's on your list, Paul.
Well, I'll tell you what is on my list, and
Okay.
movies whose trailers just suck me right in is Marcel the Shell with Shoes On.
Okay.
If you have not seen the trailer for it,
I have.
Seek it out.
It's fantastic.
Like, I am ready to cry. I have my tear ducts ready to go.
Yes.
I am ready to cry for this movie, and I will go see this. I don't know that I will try to go see this. I don't know if I'm going to get to it in theaters. It's one that I'm hoping they delay the release of this. I'm hoping it just gets New York and LA, and Chicago and Dallas the first week, and then like it comes to me like 3 weeks later, just because I look forward to the end of July, and I'm like, okay, I'll have time to see it then.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it is a fascinating trailer, and it's a movie that's gotten a lot of buzz.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, quite a bit going on that week of June 24th.
Yeah.
In relation to new summer films. So yeah, looking forward to that. I'll let you go to July 1.
So 4th of July weekend.
Yeah.
Think of the movies we've had, that just leave indelible marks on you for 4th of July weekend. We have Independence Day, that came out 4th of July weekend.
Yeah.
And this year we have Minions: The Rise of Gru, which this is one of those movies that's been delayed for 2 years. It should have come out summer of 2020, but this was one of the movies that got held back, and I think that people don't care. I feel like I've been watching trailers or reading articles about this movie for so long now that it's like, okay, enough already. Fine, it's happening. I have a really hard time. Like this, I am glad my child is officially in the point where he doesn't just need to go see every animated movie that's out in a theater now. Like, it's just, I can just completely skip this movie, unless we decide we do want to talk about it for the podcast, in which case I will totally go see it. But if you say, hey, Paul, I really don't want to talk about this movie, I'll be like, all right, I guess we will not watch and review it then. And
yeah.
Honestly, I hope our audience will forgive us for that.
Right, so. Exactly. Yeah, we'll figure out between now and then. I know you love documentaries, Paul. Are you looking forward to Hallelujah, Leonard Cohen doc?
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about Fire of Love, which I am looking forward to as a documentary lover.
Well,
Um,
yeah, I am. I'm looking forward to the Leonard Cohen documentary that's opening the same week as Rise of Gru. What a difference in topics.
yeah.
But yeah, so talk about Fire of Love. That's going to be opening July 6th.
A,
That
a couple who are volcanologists, and it's basically, you know, a National Geographic, although I don't think it's National Geographic, documentary about these two scientists and how they fell in love, and their life's work was documenting volcanoes up close and personal.
I'm in.
Yeah,
I'm
it
100%
looks
in.
really, really rivetingly amazing and sad. So
I just got to the end of the blurb. Okay. Yeah, so a couple of documentaries there, early part of July. And then we get to July 8th, and we are going to get Thor, Love, and Thunder.
yeah.
Paul, you seem excited for this one.
I am so excited. We just literally watched Ragnarok last night. Taika Waititi comes back for directing his second Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. It's Thor: Love and Thunder. We get the return of Natalie Portman. I'm in.
Yeah.
From dad bod to god bod. That's, you know, I'm in. I want.
Yeah. The latest trailer is what was the tipping point for me to finally go, okay, fine, I will want to see this movie. I was just, again,
I know you.
all this many years later, I'm still suffering post Endgame syndrome, but yeah, it looks fun. It looks a lot of fun.
Yeah. And then the next week, and this is what I'm talking about, where I say the summer is weird, because the next, you know, normally in a normal summer, it's just week after week. It's just, there's at least one mega, like, boom, boom, boom. The next week, the top three movies that I'm aware of are Bed Rest, which I've never heard of, Paws of Fury, which I've never heard of, and Where the Crawdads Sing, which I have heard of, but it's like a super indie flick that you know, like, it's one of those high budget indie flicks. So it's an indie flick, but you know, it was made by a big studio that I know almost nothing about, and like, I couldn't tell you anything about it. I just have heard the title.
What do you mean you've never heard of Paws of Fury, the Legend of Hank?
Okay. Yeah,
I'm kidding. I am familiar with I've seen the trailer once or twice.
Okay.
It looks silly. It looks awfully silly, but that very well may be enough that week to get me to a movie theater.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, that's definitely Jen's wheelhouse of movies, you know, fun animated movies. But
okay,
yeah, that week's pretty thin. The week of July 15th.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I have said more than once to you, at least in conversation, and to others who know me, July 22nd, I am very much looking forward to Jordan Peele's latest.
Yeah.
The movie is called Nope and will be available in theaters. And the trailer alone, Paul, just, I mean, come on.
And they've done one trailer, like they did a teaser about a year ago, and then they did a full trailer, and there's been nothing but that trailer, and I don't care. I'm riveted every time.
That's it. Yeah, it actually feels like the kind of trailer you'd get tired of, but you don't. Because I find myself watching for what details that I miss, and there's just so much going on that explains nothing. And I love it about I love that about the trailer, you know. And so I'm there, I'm ready, and very much looking forward to Jordan Peele's latest entry, Nope.
I just want to pause and say hi to Amber Robinson Carpenter, who commented, "Hi guys." So
wonderful, excellent. Hi guys, I know.
Shout out to Amber Robinson Carpenter.
Yes, absolutely. That is Sweetheart from the Derby World here in Texas. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Excellent. So yeah, but then Nope. I mean, which, by the way, yes, 100%. Like, you know, I went and saw a movie in the theaters. We'll talk about it later. With some friends of mine, and as we were parting, I was like, okay, so I guess, you know, July 22nd we're on, and like these are going to be my horror film friends. So I'm super excited, and nice. You know, Nope is so high, and then so we get back into one of those lull weekends. It just it doesn't make sense. It's like, what's going on, and this is where you know, we have a backup of movies, you know, like but there's also a year and a half gap where they weren't making huge budget stuff just because of for safety concerns. And so we get DC League of Super Pets. I am not going to go see that. Like,
I am.
Great.
Good for me.
I'm not going. I don't care that Kevin Hart's doing a voice for it. I'm not going. Like,
Yeah.
don't care.
Yeah.
And Vengeance, which I don't know anything about. Wait, I'm going to just click on it really quick.
I'm looking. Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, Ashton Kutcher is
yeah,
doing a dark comedy, and I like Ashton Kutcher, but like that's if it were streaming, I'd be like, yeah, totally, I'm going to catch it. But like, I don't know that I
Sure.
want to go to, and I love going to theaters, but it's just like I don't know if I want to go to see the movie theater for that. Like, maybe if I see a trailer for it, they'll suck me in,
Yeah.
much like a trailer for the next week.
Yes. It was yet to remind me of.
Which I had to remind you of.
Yeah.
Shockingly, I don't know what
And
that
I've
was
seen
all
this
about.
trailer so many times.
Yeah. Bullet Train.
Train,
Brad
yeah.
Pitt. This is
It looks fantastic.
look. This is the most fun trailer. Like, you know, I love the most recent Thor Love and Thunder trailer.
Yeah.
This is by far the most fun trailer I've seen. You know, like I'd have to stop and think, but like in a while, you know,
Yeah.
like it's just in a super long while. You know, this movie looks like it's just going to be absolutely bonkers fun and
Absolutely, yeah.
nonstop, just high speed, pun intended action. You know, and I'm there for Bullet Train.
Yeah, it does look very just fantastic, very bright, very colorful in terms of the different characters that are, you know, portrayed in the trailer itself. And yeah, very much so. When you said it earlier, I don't know why it didn't register, and I'm like, oh my god, I see this. But I've seen the trailer just about every single week for the last month and a half, 2 months.
Right.
So absolutely. All right, definitely. I do want to make sure we give some shout outs here for folks who are watching.
Right.
Big hello to George. Nick says, I've got to see DC League of Super Pets because I have a lot of good boys. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
And Susan's on. She says,
Amber mentioned Where the Crawdads Sing is an awesome book. So
and I'm going to say she's going to be very happy to know that it is literally, I'm looking at it, it's sitting on my bookshelf ready for me to read next. So now that I know that there's a film coming, I'm like, I'm going to read the book. So
put the fire under your butt and read about it.
Absolutely. That was a gift from my sister, Rebecca. So shout out to her.
We might have to have a conversation when this thing's over because I'm going to be going on a road trip and I will have some reading time. So interesting. There are two other movies coming out that weekend that I want to mention.
Okay.
The with Bullet Train. The first is to theaters. It's Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. It's God bless Gen Z and late millennials and Gen Z. This is clearly a Gen Z / late millennial movie starring what's his face, I can't think, from Saturday Night Live, Pete Davidson, and it just looks like a fun party horror movie. No,
I mean, I saw the preview for the first time last week, and it's have you seen the trailer?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's why I'm excited about it.
Okay. Well, then, yeah, you'll let me know how it goes.
Not Bullet Train excited. Look, I'm not saying it's Bullet Train excited.
I hope not.
But, it looks like when funny horror is done well, funny horror can be really good.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to give it a shot. Like, I'm in.
There's a lot of tongue-in-cheek stuff going on in this trailer.
The other one I want to mention, a big trailer just came out for it today, actually. Prey, coming out on Hulu, which is a Predator prequel. So, like Predator in pre-colonial America.
Oh, heck yeah. I'm in.
So
I am in. Look at that.
Yeah.
I don't got to put pants on or nothing. Awesome.
Nope.
Fantastic.
In fact, I might just take my pants off. No, I'm kidding. It's not. That's horrible. Why would I say that?
We'll do a watch along. No, I'm kidding.
And honestly, like, and we were talking about this before. Before coming on here, like normally there's this is when it's like every other weekend, but that's it. Like as far as summer movies are concerned, it's like there's really not any major release. You know, at the very end of August, there's 3,000 Years of Longing, which is Frank Miller with Tilda Swinton and Idris Elba. I'm starting to see trailers in theaters for that. I just saw one this weekend.
Yeah.
And you know, that's one of those, that's a classic super late summer movie that builds a lot of, you know, like builds up a week over week, and just, you know, has a lot of legs to it.
Yeah.
But that's like it. Like I don't know, man.
and sadly, it strikes me as the kind of film that people will pass by. But it just, number one, George Miller, and number two, the cast.
Yeah.
I'm definitely in for that one as well. So
yeah,
it's, you know, it's funny. It's almost like not week to week, but for certain portions of time in the next three months, you almost have to kind of do some research and go, oh, you know what? I think I'm going to go check that out, because it could be something that, you know, that ends up being something we comment on or talk about. So yeah.
And it's interesting. Do you think any non-IP movie this summer will do well? And really, I'm looking at Elvis. Like Elvis and Nope. Nope, I think will do well. I think Nope will be the first one. I don't think Elvis you know,
it's going to have a decent opening, in my opinion, but I just don't think it's going to have the staying power.
Yeah, I like 40 million. Is that decent even? Like, over under for 40 million. I don't know.
It's hard to say, but I think Curiosity will get a certain portion of folks to get out there in the first weekend. But I don't know. It's hard to say. But I know that my interest in it is purely because of how annoying the trailer's been. So
yeah, I think Nope will be the first 100+ million.
Oh yes,
non-IP release since the pandemic. Like that,
I agree,
because nothing's even come close. Like nothing, no non-IP movie has done even respectable box office yet. Like it's all been just, you know, doom and gloom. And so Nope is really the best chance. And I think it does it. I think
it's gonna go totally on the power of Peele's previous work. I mean,
correct.
It's just he is just hit after hit, and I don't see that ending. So yeah.
And I do want to stress that my pessimism for Elvis should not reflect. We did touch on it earlier. I do want to stress I am really excited. I love Baz Luhrmann, but I just don't think the general public cares.
Yeah.
You know, here's the thing is the audience for that is boomers, and it's not the right tone for boomers. And Baz Luhrmann would appeal to, Gen X millennials. And I just don't think that they care about Elvis. So he's put himself in a tough spot. Like, I just don't know what's going to happen there.
Time will tell, and it'll be upon us before we know it. So yeah, it's looking to be an interesting summer. We're going to have, it's like if you were to map it, you get 4 or 5 spikes in terms of the graph, and then some valleys. So the cool part, Paul, is that week to week, folks can find out what exactly is happening over the next few summer months. I don't know about you, but we're dealing with 104 and 105 degree weather here.
Yeah,
I'm okay with sitting in an air conditioned theater
for cheesy
to pass the time.
Yeah, it's South Florida, so it's not hundreds, it's low 90s, but it is humid, and every afternoon it's raining. So
well, there you go. I would be happy for some rain here in Texas. So all right. Well, if you're looking forward to summer movies this year, let us know. You can do so by jumping on over to our Facebook page. Just look up Reel to Real Talk and comment to us there. Let us know what you're looking forward to this summer on the poster for this particular episode. You can also check past episodes and such as you go through our Facebook page. Also on Instagram, don't forget, you can find our show posters and such at Reel to Real Talk on Instagram. And if you are watching us on YouTube, we say thank you very much for being here. Make sure you click that subscribe button. In case you can't catch us live, you'll know when our episodes land by clicking on that notification bell, and you can catch up on our weekly episodes or past episodes as well. All right, Paul, it's time for you to do your thing. What in the hell did you watch this past week?
So, I'm really excited about this week's What the Hell Did I Just Watch? Because we have some recurring things or some returning things happen. So, for one thing, if you're a fan of the segment, and I hope you are, you're aware there are directors that pop up frequently because they are always making weird stuff. And, it's just the way it is. And one of those directors happens to be David Cronenberg. And also, this is the second time that I've done a What the Hell Did I Just Watch that is a new release. Like, so you could hear my segment and then just find a theater and go check this out for yourself and be amazed. And the first one was Lamb, and I genuinely loved Lamb, and I hope people went and saw it. This week we have Crimes of the Future from David Cronenberg. Interesting thing about Crimes of the Future, David Cronenberg, before it was released as an official selection for the Cannes Film Festival, said, I fully expect people to walk out of this movie. I don't think people are going, this is going to, there's something here to offend everybody, and there will be people that walk out. And I get it.
You and I talked on the trailer alone. I was like, this one's on you, Paul.
Yeah. This movie is a tough hang. But it's an interesting hang. If you make it to the end, it's an interesting hang. So one of the things with What the Hell Did I Just Watch is we end up with not a lot, but every once in a while, not infrequently, we end up with non-narrative movies. And one of my things about weird movies and movies that don't have a solid narrative is you have to commit to that. Okay. If you're going non-narrative, great, commit. If you give seeds of a narrative, though, you need to see those seeds germinate, or at least give enough to allow people to have them germinate in their own heads. And if you start to develop a narrative, you have to commit to that as well. You can't just sign a half-ass it. And I think last week's or not last, was it last week? No, 3 weeks ago when we did Men is a perfect example of a movie that was super light in narrative, but did enough to foster your imagination that you just had fun kind of making up things. And this is a great example of a movie that spends literally the first 2 acts just absolutely no narrative whatsoever. Like, it's just like people are developing new organs. You know that this is a work of fiction because the most famous people in the world are performance artists. Like, I mean, performance artists, what? Like, most people would have a really hard time naming one performance artist. Whereas here in this world, it's like, oh my God, it's performance artist guy and girl. And they're the most famous people. And it's like, everybody loves the performance artist. And I'm sorry, it's just like that's a really difficult thing to swallow. Like that alone is a weird thing. But the fact that they're performance artists because one of them's growing new organs and the other one is removing those new organs and showing them off makes it all the more weird. There are like various like machines and stuff where they reposition the person who's growing new organs because they're always uncomfortable, and it's like, okay, but why and where? Like there's a lot of things that go unexplained that feel like there should be some semblance of explanation. Gotcha. And then at the start of the third act, you get a huge plot exposition dump that should have been done in the middle of the first act and would have made for a much more interesting movie going experience. Gotcha. Unfortunately. And it was genuinely like an aha moment. Like I'm in the movie theater, I'm like, oh, that's what's going on. Now I get it. Like it was literally like, okay, if I had known this all along, I might have been able to enjoy a lot more of what's happening.
Gotcha.
And then major shit happens again. I'm not going to spoil anything. Like something major happens and they don't explain it. And the characters that do the major shit vanish from screen. And it's a major, it's what's her name from the vampire movies?
Kristen Stewart.
Thank you. It's Kristen Stewart's character does a thing. We don't see her do the thing. She does it off camera. You find out through a different character in the movie that she did the thing. Okay. And it's a huge major thing. And then they then she's gone. Like, we never see her again. And it's like, no. Like, that's a really important thing for this character to be doing. You can't just disappear her. This is a really interesting movie in that it needed to be 15 minutes longer, or they needed to cut 15 minutes somewhere else and put some more stuff in the third act. Like,
Gotcha.
like they really, really needed to move plot stuff earlier and give us more at the end. If it's really gross. I mean, like, I understand, like, absolutely, most people, like, a lot of people would walk out on this movie. It is really gross. It makes the weird shit that happens in Men seem just like, oh, okay, that's cool, you know, like, sure, whatever. It's really gross. And some of it is really genuinely hard to take, but it's also kind of interesting. I mean, this idea that people, like, the conceit of the movie is there are these people that are growing new organs. But they're non-functioning organs. And there is a segment of the population that believes that as soon as these organs become functional and have a purpose, those aren't people anymore, because they're no longer, you know, they have something within them that makes them a new species. You know, an organ that does a thing. And there's another segment of the population that believes these new organs are, you know, the fact that people are sprouting new organs is a sign that we're ready for our next evolutionary jump. And they actually do surgeries in order to have functioning alternate organs. And so it's really an interesting look at identity, at, you know, humanity and that sort of thing. And you know, how different people view different identities really can be fucked up, which is something that we deal with every day. But the weirdness and grossness is just like, you know, scale it back, you know, like, we can be weird and gross, but not that weird.
But it's Cronenberg, though. So
I know it's Cronenberg, so it
he's
has
gonna push
to be
the
that
envelope.
weird and gross. And you also have to have characters do completely random and inexplicable things and never explain it. And there's a lot of that. So it's an if you have friends that can stomach this kind of movie and you want to have a pretty interesting conversation, then I would say go see it. I am so glad I had people to go see it with. I would not have wanted to see this one alone. So
Gotcha. Well, again, one of those rare moments where you can go and actually catch what Paul just talked about. Crimes of the Future is available in theaters, and just be warned, it is how did you describe it? A difficult hang.
It's a very difficult hang. Yeah.
Maybe someday I'll be brave enough. So, well, thank you, Paul. We always appreciate you sharing your unique film experiences. And we look forward to more every single week right here on Real to Real Talk. We are going to now jump into real quick reviews as we have a couple of films that turns out we both watched and are going to talk about now. And gee willikers, Paul, wow. I'll let you get us started on the first one.
Interceptor, free on Netflix. Guess what? You're already paying for it, so you might as well watch it.
You're paying too much.
Hey, look, it's part of the subscription. You know, honestly, I would dump Netflix if they didn't come out with dumb action movies. And that is the perfect way to describe this movie. It is a dumb action movie. Oh
my goodness. I felt my brain melting as starring Elsa Pataky, who you won't know from anything unless you watch the Fast movies. And this movie was designed to be sort of a feature for her.
Yes. Her husband, by the way, was the producer. Do you know who her
Chris
husband
Hemsworth?
is?
Yes.
Yep.
Who shows up in the movie?
Yeah. Chris Hemsworth. Best part of the movie. I just want to shout out to Chris Hemsworth. His parts of the movie, by far the best parts of the movie. Like,
but so
so dumb.
I don't even know how to review this movie.
No,
because golly, I mean, listen, I love a good action movie.
Yeah,
but this movie suffers everything we ever talk about. That, you know, when we get a chance to talk about action films. There's maybe one or two things that we have issue with.
Yeah.
And there's always several others that sort of level up, and we were like, this was a solid action film.
Yeah.
There was absolutely nothing redeeming about this film. The action sequences were weak.
Yeah.
The set pieces were
Meh.
just come on.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
I genuinely wanted to
don't get
like
me started
parts
on
of
the
this movie.
dialogue.
Yeah, no. Oh my god, horrible. And yeah, and they tried to give characters backstory and it didn't work. The bad guys were just so paper thin and
Yes.
obvious.
Oh my goodness.
Like
And-
there's a heel turn in this that is by far the least surprising heel turn
Thank you.
in the history of movies.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was a bad movie. Very
This was
bad.
a bad movie.
In fact, when you brought it to the table, I quickly looked at the reviews and thought, oh my god. But then I was like, no, I'm curious. And so
Train wreck, for sure.
and you know,
Although
I at least wanted to think to my, I went in thinking, okay, maybe at least there'll be something here that's fun. No, for me, not even Chris Hemsworth was fun.
Really, I did thoroughly enjoy his scenes, especially
the 4
his
times he
post-credits.
spoke.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't even want to give this film more time, but I will say this, that just so find it on Netflix.
Mhm.
And then look at the suggested movies around it, and then pick one of those. You'll
There
do
you
better.
go.
You'll do better.
There you
so
go.
are we gonna give this a rating?
Yeah, I mean we have to, right?
Yeah. All right. Well, you know, guys, that here on Real to Real Talk, we do a 5 taco rating. You can give a movie as many as 5 tacos plus guac if you want to give it some extra love. Paul, Interceptor. What is
All
your
right,
rating?
I'm giving this one taco plus shitty guac, and Chris Hemsworth gets the shitty guac. And honestly, like I think about movies that I have watched and genuinely hated, and I didn't genuinely hate this movie. I just genuinely didn't like it. There was nothing to like, but there was also nothing to just make me mad and hate it. So I'm giving it the 1 plus guac.
Got it. Well, save your guac, I say, because I'm going to
Okay.
give it 1 taco, only because it was only an hour and 36 minutes. So
the time, yes, the runtime is beautiful.
yeah, I can usually, you know this of me, Paul. I can usually find something redeeming in an action film, and so no, not this time, not this time. So Interceptor, you choose to watch it and let us know what you think. Hopefully, you'll find something better.
Especially if you watch it and like it. I really want to hear what you enjoyed, other than Chris Hemsworth.
Because maybe I missed something.
Yeah,
maybe I missed something. All right. The other movie is Fire Island. Paul, you actually put this one on my radar, and I'm glad you did. So I'll let you kind of lead the way here.
So look, if you're a fan of the program here, you've heard me talk about I genuinely enjoy Jane Austen adaptations.
Yeah.
Like it, and it's a thing that my my co-pilot enjoys, and they just will watch Jane Austen remakes, BBC specials, all the time, and this is an adaptation of the most interesting adaptation of a Jane Austen movie since Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, although this also happens to be Pride and Prejudice again.
Right.
And it's 5 gay men go to Fire Island, and stay in the house of their, sort of lesbian matriarch. And they're just living out loud, and God bless them. They're having super fun, and they're super fabulous. And it's a really interesting, it sticks to all the beats of Pride and Prejudice really well. If you've seen the amazing Keira Knightley Pride and Prejudice, you'll know exactly where this is going throughout, and it absolutely goes there. They do a fantastic job of giving each of the men a personality of one of the 5 sisters from Pride and Prejudice, and they even call each other sisters and stuff. It's great. It's so much fun, and it's just fun. This is it's not a great movie by any stretch. Like Pride and Prejudice, the Keira Knightley adaptation is great. It's genuinely great. This is just fun. This movie is just absolutely a breath of fresh air.
It is,
and I mean that's the best way to describe it.
Absolutely. And the thing that I'm so happy that you put this on my radar is because, again, this being Pride Month,
Yeah, for sure.
very important to explore different genres. And this movie um was really enjoyable. It was sort of your rom-com approach, and it didn't it gave you some of the basic rom-com tropes, but it didn't feel like it was overdoing it. This cast, I read a review that talked about how the joy of the cast is what really came through in relation to the overall film itself, and I cannot disagree. Plus, anytime you get Margaret Cho, an appearance from her, she's amazing. So, yeah, no, this was really a fun movie that takes like you said, Pride and Prejudice, and sort of turns it on its ear, but in one of the best ways I've ever seen. I was just, it was very charming, and I really enjoyed this movie. So
yeah, there's one thing that I want to talk about.
Okay.
And and it's me being boring cisgen guy,
Okay.
or cishet, I should say, cishet guy. And so I'm going to do a bad analogy. So,
Okay.
Woody Allen movies. If you watch a Woody Allen movie, if you're not from New York or maybe Los Angeles, the characters in a Woody Allen movie are just completely inaccessible to you.
Yep.
They're decent characters, but it's really hard to relate to them. And the characters that Woody Allen writes that are relatable are usually poorly written and treated like crap. Like they're the sort of the common man person is just always just a poorly written character. And the thing, so this is where the bad analogy comes in with Fire Island. These are all characters that are clearly living out loud, which is great, and it's really interesting, and it's clearly a segment of the population. But I wonder, within the LGBTQ community, are these characters, compared to does the rest of the LGBTQ community look at these characters the way people see like Woody Allen characters, where it's like they're interesting and they're really good and they're done well for what they are, but it's like that's really not representative of the majority. Like, if you put every LGBTQ person under an umbrella, is that just like a small population, or and I just genuinely don't know, or is this really super relatable and everybody maybe has a friend who's super like this, or within their group of friends, when they're not hanging around with cishet people, they're like, this is the way we all kind of relate to each other. I don't know. Like it's my ignorance, and I don't know. It's a curious question that I have.
Sure.
that is stuck in my head, and it was just one of the things that I thought about when I was watching this, not as a derogatory, but just simply as I wonder how universal these characters are within the community.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, it's an interesting question, and one that for those who are watching, if you want to lend your thoughts to, please do.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Fire Island, Paul. I'm going to say it. Thank you for putting it on my radar. For taco ratings, what would you give Fire Island? Available on Hulu, by the way.
Yeah, available on Hulu. This one gets 4 tacos for me.
Yeah.
Just great. It's not great, but it's not like a great film, but it is so much fun. I would really have a hard time with anybody who watches it and was like, I didn't like that movie. I'd be like, what was there not to like? I mean, it's so much fun. Yeah.
Well, we're going to keep those 4 tacos up there because on a 5 taco scale, this gets 4 tacos for me.
Yeah.
It is, again, I'll be honest, that this is where, for me, very similarly, relatability was initially going to be a concern for me, but the way in which these characters play off one another, the way in which the director, does such a fantastic job of adaptation from the source material, I found myself totally immersed in it. And this is a really, really good film, and one I hope people watch. because it's available on Hulu. So
Yeah,
check it out.
Shout out to Margaret Cho.
Yes, Cho.
Cho.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Cho.
So good. She's so good in this movie. I
She
do
is a
wish they
gem.
gave her a little more to do.
Yeah.
Just a fantastic character.
Indeed. Yeah, and we come to another fantastic end of an episode here at Real to Real Talk. Paul, I'm really excited about the coming weeks. I'm glad we got a chance to talk about summer films and what's happening. Next week, we will be doing a look at the Jurassic Park franchise as we prepare to review Jurassic World Dominion. So make sure you join us next week. And yeah, Paul, it's always fun. I love
it. Yeah.
Indeed.
Good times.
Indeed. We'll look forward to next week and all the weeks to come. And to all of you, we say thank you for joining us as you do, whether it's live or later. Please continue to do so. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, you know the drill. What's more important than all of that is remember, you're awesome. You're amazing. And the world's a better place because you are in it.